It was an average day in Kansas City, Missouri. A man walks into the hotel president. He was reported as being well-dressed in a dark overcoat and no bags. He identified himself as Roland T. Owen and booked the hotel room 1046 for one night. He was taken to his room, where he pulled basic toiletries out of his pocket and then left the room with the bellboy. That evening, Mary Soapdick brought fresh towels to the hotel room. When she entered, she found the room in total darkness and the blinds tightly closed. Owens, illuminated by the light from the hallway, was lying on the bed, still fully clothed, and a note on the bedside table reading, "Don, I'll be back in 15 minutes. Wait." The next day, Soapdick returned in the morning to clean. The door was locked, which could only be done from the outside, so she assumed Owen was out. However, upon entering, she found Owens in the exact same position he had been in the evening before. When the phone rang, Owen picked up and said, "No, Don, I don't want to eat. I am not hungry. I just had breakfast. No, I am not hungry." When Soapdick arrived in the evening to take the towels again, she could hear two men speaking loudly, so she knocked first. A voice that sounded too deep to be Owen's asked who it was. Upon learning it was fresh towels, they replied they didn't need any, despite Soapdick taking the towels that morning. That night, people reportedly heard loud voices from both men and women coming from the 10th floor. A bellboy was sent up to room 1046 as the phone had been left off the hook for a while. The door was locked with a "Do Not Disturb" sign on it. He knocked anyway, and a voice from inside told him to come in. However, the door was locked and he didn't have a key. He knocked again, and the voice asked him to please turn on the lights. The bellboy just shouted for him to pick up the phone and left. An hour later, and the phone was still off the hook, so a different employee goes up there with a key. Upon entering the door, they find Owens lying on the bed in the nude. The light from the hallway revealed some dark spots on the bed. The employee, assuming he was drunk, picked up the phone and left the room. Just 2 hours after Owen was last checked on, the phone was off the hook again, so the original bellboy returned with a key to find that Owens was no longer replying to knocks. He unlocked the door to find Owens on his knees, his head covered in blood, and so were the walls, floors, and ceiling of the two rooms and the bathroom. The boy quickly ran for help and returned with the manager. Owens had managed to stand up and sit on the edge of the bath. He had been tied by electrical cords around his wrists, ankles, and neck, where bruising indicated an attempted strangulation. There were multiple stab wounds in his chest, one had punctured his left lung, and a blow to the head that fractured his skull. When Owens was questioned, he said that nobody had done this to him, and it wasn't a suicide attempt. He said that he had simply slipped and hit his head on the bath. Owens was rushed to the hospital, where he died from his injuries the next day. When the blood was analysed, it showed that this had been done to Owens at around 5 in the morning, which means that he was bleeding out during all three of his visits on January 4th. There were no clothes or toiletries left in the room, but they did find fingerprints that likely belonged to a woman. This could not be matched to anyone who had reportedly entered the hotel room or worked at the hotel. Roland T. Owens had just been an alias used by the man, and his real name was identified as Artemus Ogletree, after his mother had seen a photo in a newspaper a few years after his death. She had been receiving letters that were pretending to be her son from Cairo. The body was going to be buried in an unmarked grave in a public cemetery, but an unknown person sent in the money to have him buried in an expensive grave site with a proper funeral. Flowers were also sent to the grave by an unknown person. The two prevailing theories is that Don is a mafia boss and Artemus had got involved with the wrong people and was killed because he owed money or something similar, or that Don is a woman, either an ex-lover or prostitute, that murdered him for revenge. Though, no evidence has come to light, and the mystery will likely never be solved. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Leave a comment about your theory for what happened to Artemus Ogletree and who the mysterious Don is.